someone showed a video of the Tesla logo upside down. And bruh, did we just see Kanye West in his rendition of this? I mean, come on.
Hey, Segovia. Back with another video, y'all. How's everyone doing out there? Damn, it feels good to be home, y'all. Good trip away. Thank you guys for all the love. We're back, y'all. We're back with the hour-long banger like I never left. Hope everyone enjoyed that little week of content I put out. Little 30-minute clips. You guys showed love. Appreciate it. We'll get into the vacation at the end of the video, but for right now, I know why we're here. A lot of crazy things have happened while I was gone, y'all. Let's get into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
So do you believe in aliens now, after all of this research?
I think they walk among us, and I think that some of you know. I think we're all familiar with some of them. I think they're right here with us, and we just don't know who they are.
I have friends of mine that say, "Wait, I understand. Wait, you don't talk to your client?" I said, "No, there's nothing to say." Even when I've met them and they'll get in the vehicle, flying in privately, they'll get in the car, they're already on the phone. Now they might say, "How's it going?" I'll say, "Great, sir." That's it. I know not to say "great, sir," but there's no other conversation. What goes back to social cues, right? When someone says, "How are you doing?" No one really wants to hear you say, "Well, to be honest with you, I feel like shit," and no one really wants to hear that. So it's just a courtesy. And I've just learned over these years, I've literally been to restaurants with the same client day in and day out, and they'll say, "Bruce, you want to join us for dinner?" And I'll be at the bar. They know now not to even invite me. But the problem is people in my field will say, "Oh, they invited me to sit with them. I guess I should," right? But I've gained so much more respect because they know Bruce is always looking out for me. He's never going to cross the line.
We are in Yemen right now, and the United States has been telling the world that they have been targeting with airstrikes Houthi rebel military bases. But this is not a Houthi military base I'm in, but it was bombed 11 times by the United States over the past 2 weeks. The most recent bombing they did on this building was 2 days ago. And this is in a rural, very impoverished part of Yemen called Sada. And they bombed this 11 times. Guess what it is? A cancer hospital. It was going to be the most technologically advanced cancer hospital, oncology, for all the people of Yemen. And the United States decided to bomb it 11 times. Now, of course, there are occasional times when they hit, military targets. There are military targets in this country, of course. But the vast majority of the time, 95% of the time, they're not hitting military targets. This is a cancer hospital. We're about to go visit a university that was already constructed, being used by students, which was also bombed to the ground, much worse than this. 11 times, though, for a cancer hospital that was under construction. The worst part is, the money here is very sparse. And you can't just do something like this easily, build a cancer hospital. And now that it's completely destroyed, it's going to be impossible for them to do this again. So this is what your taxpayer dollars are going to. They're bombing cancer hospitals in Yemen. Fortunately, no one was hurt in these attacks, but it is absolutely horrific. I'll show you a little bit more here. You can see.
I'm glad I got punched.
Crazy.
Usually, what is best for America is also best for Israel and vice versa. But on occasions, for example, an American president must make a decision that does not, in effect, give the Israelis a blank check. And one example of that is a decision that I made.
I think one of the things I realized as I got older is you don't realize how many people are lonely in this world.
Right. Like
you get older, I'm saying, because you encounter more people, and you talk to people who, like, you realize you have this like full life that you could take for granted. Like you have a family, you have friends, you have all these things going on, and then you meet people who they don't have any of that, and they're alone. And
there's a lot of those.
There's a lot of people that are very lonely.
Guys, you want to be honest with you? I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the fuck is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor? Like, what is going on in the world right now? Why the fuck is this going on? Can somebody please explain what's going on? Why are we all losing? Why are we all negative right now? Like, does anybody know why?
Look at this.
Plastic you can avoid are drinking plastic bottles. Everything imports and knives and cups. Okay, so start there. Because everything else is wrapped in plastic. You know, and it's hard to avoid everything. You should probably start. So if you can start with avoiding that, intercept means intercept plastic from going into the ocean by cleaning up.
Plastic.
All that is microplastics.
When you clean up, you're leading by example. Plastic is everywhere. Once you start looking for it and at it, you just find endless amounts of plastic. And so there are easy things like plastic cutting boards are very common. So that's not a good idea because you're chopping up plastic and it can get into your food. Plastic utensils or plastic plates. So other basic things like don't microwave in plastic. So if you just become aware of plastic in your life and start trying to remove it, you don't need to, like a steady methodical process works. Slowly start removing plastic from your daily routines. Like for example, having a water flask is a really good practice.
How one man single-handedly destroyed America, and his name is John D. Rockefeller. Let me explain. So it all started when John D. Rockefeller established his first oil refinery in 1863, which we all know today as Standard Oil. His enterprise became the largest in the region within only 3 years. He incorporated the Standard Oil Company in 1870 and bought out all of the major competitors in 1872. This alone put him in control of 90% of all oil in the United States. Over the years, he accumulated a net worth of over $500 billion, making him the richest man in United States history. Now that y'all caught up on who this guy is, let's get into the dark stuff. And just remember, this is the same guy who once said, and I quote, "We will keep their lives short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so that they never see what is happening. By using soft metals, agent accelerators, sedatives in food and in water as well as in the air, they will be covered in poisons wherever they turn. Soft metals will make them lose their minds." Around the time that Rockefeller seized the U.S. media, he also hijacked the pharmaceutical industry and took control of the education system. Once it was discovered that drugs could be produced from petroleum, America's top oil mogul, Rockefeller, after taking control of all the media, he instructed his propagandists to invert reality accordingly. So natural medicines used for thousands of years before this were now recognized as alternatives. The new petroleum-based highly addictive drugs were now recognized as the gold standard. So after buying out a German pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler by the name of IG Farben, he then leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities as impractical. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association, which is weird because this right here is their new symbol and it looks very similar to that. They then began to offer massive grants to all top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum be taught. Any mention of the healing powers of herbs, plants, or diet were all erased from modern-day textbooks. All doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plans were all crucified by the media because he had control of the media, and then later removed from the AMA, then stripped of their license to teach and study medicine. Once word got out that his petroleum-based medicine caused cancer, in 1913 he founded the American Cancer Society to suppress that information. Notice the same logo. Coincidentally, this was the same year that they founded the Federal Reserve. Me personally, I don't believe in coincidences, but y'all let me know what y'all think down below in the comments.
Like, how dark of a person, evil of a person, do you have to be to do that stuff? Like, how controlling are you? Like, that's controlling on a whole nother level. That's not just controlling one person. That's controlling the whole world, y'all. That's crazy.
This is true, then this is insane, and this needs to be exposed immediately. A lot of people have come out recently, including growers themselves, trying to expose what's going on inside of the marijuana you-know-what industry. With the growers themselves mentioning how the growing process has apparently been altered, with growers showing their requirements as of lately of having to wear hazmat suits when apparently spraying the plants. Mentioning on many occasions of which I've noticed chemicals that are apparently very harmful and toxic, according to them forcing the plants to grow larger buds and speeding up the growing process as well. Some of these hazmat suits of which they've been showing off that apparently they've been forced to use are kind of concerning. And coincidentally, throughout the last 6 months alone, I've been noticing a lot of people have a lot of reports. Majority of these individuals' ages ranging anywhere from 20 to even 50 years old and having 10 plus years of experience. Considering how lenient that our government has been throughout the last 2 years alone with the legalization process, I can't say that I'd be surprised. I mean, I had to personally quit well over a year ago. Yes, I've been 100% sober for over a year now. I am very proud of myself. But anyways, I noticed weirdly enough after 10 plus years that I started to get paranoid, and a lot of people started to blame me growing up for that. But then of course I started noticing it all around me and I just ignored it. Regardless, this is highly concerning if what they're mentioning is actually occurring in the industry. We all know how big pharma is, so I would highly recommend that you just stay aware of how you feel in the future. At this point in time, I would not put anything past our government, honestly. And when it comes to something like that, I mean, you never know.
I mean, I could have told you that was coming. Like, how can we get the strongest? Like, it's like 30, 40% now, 25% now, THC. Like, how can we get the strongest, the biggest buds, the most profit we want? That's what it turns into after a while. It stops being for the medical reasons, or it stops being for, the peace and love, whatever. It starts being into how can we make the most profit, the quickest, the fastest. Same thing with the cows. How can we get them the biggest, the fattest to get the most meat off of these cows, right? Same thing. It's what it turns into after a while. It starts off good, but then the wrong people get in control, and then these people that are doing it right, well, we got to keep up, y'all. We can't get left behind, because guess what? Our business gets shut down. Guess what? We don't make money no more. This is what we love to do, so we got to join suit. That's just what happens, y'all. That's business.
The devil is not the devil. The devil is narcissistic energy.
Yeah.
And the energy is one energy, as in they're all connected to narcissism the way that we're connected to God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Like
I don't think
Demogorgon.
Right, I don't think they can escape because they don't want to.
It's like empaths are born from the light, from heaven, from God, and then narcissists are born from the earth, from the devil, from narcissism.
It's attached to them when they come in.
Hey, did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there, and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit, because the man card means everything.
So anyway, like he was a good actor too, y'all. But that he asked Pet David, whatever, asked him what were the consequences of that. He didn't answer it in that clip. I haven't seen the full podcast, but he didn't answer it in that little clip. Like, it kind of slipped by. But it seems like he got kind of blackballed from Hollywood. Like, maybe he's just getting, I don't know if that empire is still going on, but he was pretty good. Like Hustle and Flow, he was a good actor in that. He was good, and that's probably what happened, y'all. You'll get these, you turn in from an A-list celebrity. We'll give you that for a little bit, but then you got to go through this door if you want to continue being that A-list celebrity. And now he's kind of, a C-list, B-list celebrity. He's not like upper echelon up there, and he's a good actor, y'all. So that was the consequences of saying no.
The signal thing, though, again, like the real scandal here is not that they either intentionally or were just so incompetent that they added this journalist to it and it got leaked. Like, the real scandal is like when you look through the chat, and that it's like, what are we doing here? We're bombing another country in the Middle East. We're bombing the poorest country in the Middle East.
Yemen,
by the way,
which
Yemen,
has been bombed forever.
Oh my God! On behalf of Israel, because they're standing up against this fucking brutal war in Gaza right now, and so we're gonna bomb these guys again. And then you have like, I gotta say, man, like I was disgusted by Tulsi Gabbard's response there. Someone who I've, said a lot of nice things about over the years and who I really supported as being the DNI. But like, literally only J.D. Vance is the only one who offers the mildest pushback and goes, he's like, hey guys, this is kind of a mistake and it's kind of everything against what Donald Trump ran on. And by the way, like it's like such an insignificant amount of our trade that even goes through this area. It's really Europe's problem, not ours. But I'll go along with it if you guys want to, if you guys say, and then they literally say on the thing, they go, we've tracked the missile guy, as they call him. This is the target they're trying to take out. They go, we've tracked him to his girlfriend's apartment building. And so we'll level the apartment building. And then Tulsi Gabbard's just like, job well done, team. Everybody's cheering it on. There's not like nobody even has the thought to go like, is there a way we could do this without like murdering an entire apartment building's worth of people here? Is there a way? Man, this is a lot. Like, it's like, did none of you guys even kind of believe in God? Are none of you even scared that maybe God exists and that like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? There's none of that. There's not a feeling of that. There's not a sense of like,
Do you want to see something really interesting?
Absolutely.
All right, look at this. We saw the new energy grid like 10 years from now, and we saw how it ties in 0-point energy, quantum computing, and artificial intelligence all into one system.
Meaning like they're all working together in unison.
Yeah, it kind of like, I don't want to use the word singularity, but they merge into where they're all overlapping. We also saw something pretty bad.
What was it?
In the middle of all this high tech and futuristic stuff, I saw a guy like crawling around like a caveman in the mud.
That doesn't sound good. What time frame was this? How far out are we looking?
People have just found out the horrifying truth about the rat people in Pakistan. It is actually really, really sad. So you may or may not have heard of the rats of Shardola, often referred to as the rat children. These people, but it gets a lot more messed up because of how they look like this. So there is a deformation in the world which can cause your head to look like this. It is obviously very terrible, which is what some people do have. These people most likely born with it, and it's a terrible condition, but yeah. However, these people were forced to look like this. They most likely didn't before. These poor people are believed to be completely abused and controlled by people to make them look like beggars. Believe they're controlled by mafias in Pakistan, who basically dress them up, do these awful things to them, and tell them what to do. People are made to look this way, then dressed up, sent to the streets to look like really bad beggars, and as awful as it sounds, literally just collect money for these gangs. Well, this is the condition that can happen to you, but these people are forced it, so most likely they would have had a normal head shape before, and these people would put an extremely tight metal band around their head to essentially crush their skull inwards.
Wow.
Can you even imagine that? Leading their head to become smaller, deformed, and people believe they're beggars.
His name is Adam Graham Mason. His father, Adam Graham, was pardoned by the administration for committing illicit activities and crimes. His father is a master mason. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
These are facts. His podcast is a part of a program that is used to attack the youth. The goofy got loose. He got himself tricked off the street, bro. You feel me? Implicated Big U in murders and robberies. He put insurance on himself by going to go tell Adam 22 about all of this shit, all of these crimes. He put insurance on himself. He implicated the man in robberies, and the same crimes he implicated the man in that interview is in the paperwork. So I don't want to ever hear anything about these guys again. If you supporting that Whack 100 police show, you are a scumbag, and you scum to the community. You poison to the community because he said he worked for the FBI. These guys is coming on here getting people to entrap themselves, incriminate themselves online, and then you see the same cases in the paperwork. Black Wall Wire.
What?
Whack one wire, man. In the paperwork, it say 20 members of Rolling 60s ran down on somebody who was disrespecting Big U. That person was Whack 100. He had a wire on. Several people from No Drummer was calling trying to get my address. I never bid for none of the bait that they put out there. They are there to do exactly what they've been doing, and I want everybody to know something must be done. Man, they recording people's phone calls in 2 consenting states. FBI was at my mama's job the other day trying to say they want to ask me some questions, trying to find me to ask me some questions about these niggas. Clown shit. This is not state. Like that Rico YSL and them had, that was state. This is federal. They don't come unless they know they got you. That situation at No Jumper when they beat up the 2 dudes.
Yeah.
That
I remember that. I remember that.
That's in the indictment.
Oh, it's in there too?
That's in the indictment. Loose a convicted felon with a gun on camera. They're stripping 2 guys outside the building.
Okay, so they are claiming that this is the first time in history that humans have ever orbited over the poles in outer space. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of different things, but first off, didn't they say we've gone to the moon and we're on the way to Mars? So forgive my skepticism, I'm just wondering why this would be the first time that humans were able to navigate above the poles from, again, outer space. Now, it's actually really interesting because a video surfaced a while ago showing something questionable, allegedly, in the North Pole. So sorry about the quality and the bullcrap people have on their screens. Now, this video surfaced years ago. I remember when it came out, and I do not believe it's been properly debunked. And it's showing a massive vortex in the North Pole. Now, you might also know of a massive vortex in the North Pole from Saturn, the wandering star, and also the inner Earth stories from Admiral Byrd, where his private journal said he went inside of the Earth. So the question is this legitimate? And even farther, let me show you this. These are allegedly all the satellites that are up in space or low Earth orbit right now as we speak. You can literally go to a site like I did and show them live, supposedly flying around. If this was happening, will we not have the most undeniable 4K video evidence ever? And lastly, look how fast these things are allegedly moving. They are flying. Millions of square miles covered in seconds. So my question is simply this: where is all this extraordinary technology that we have?
Our society is so fucked that a large popcorn and 2 large drinks at AMC is $30.
She ain't lying.
How? Literally how? I can have a whole ass meal for $30.
Yo, look at how crazy this shit is. This looks like out of a fucking movie, y'all. Watch, you ready? You ready? You ready? That's not even a bunker. That's just regular fucking dip in the shit. But watch this. Look at this. Can you see the steam?
The Texas flag on the pole.
You can't do the camera.
That's Texas right there. Shouts out, man.
What the fuck?
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen this shit. I've never seen this shit. Look at this. Look at this. What in the fuck? What happened? What happened? Wow.
Damn, where were you at when this was going on? Were you in that
What if
golf
the
cart?
end times have already happened? What if the last days were before the end of the first century?
That's right.
What difference would that make to you today, living in 21st century America?
What if near and the time is near, the time is at hand? What if that meant that the time is near, the time is at hand?
Right.
How much clearer could I have Jesus or John made it that the time was now?
When you said, what about the angel?
Oh, he come to this house here.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, who are you? He said, I'm an angel from heaven. So God sent me down. See, I'm not the only person God sent down. They sent down over 100 angels to watch over people like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how he know me? He said, God knows you by name. And he sent me down to your address. I said, well, how he know my address?
Don't tell me your address, but when you say he don't come through the door, how do he come in?
In the light.
In the light?
Yeah. But from that night on, that day on, he tried to talk stuff to me.
When he sat on your thing that had as a light to you, you say he'll touch you and it feels like what now?
He'll do what?
You said when he touches you, it feels like what? It feels cold?
No, like this.
And you said you think it's what? Medicine?
Yeah, cold drops of water. I say it's water, but it's like some drops of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Drops on my leg, this leg here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I be praying for the whole body, but it drops it down long in here.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 drops, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
And I never see it and I never feel nothing, because when I feel it, I feel like it's water.
Mm-hmm. And what
and
do you believe it is?
I believe it's medicine from God.
Okay.
Because I told Helen about it.
My Lord.
And Helen said, Mama, said that's what it is. That's medicine, but you think it's water. That's what I said, because it'll be cold.
Right.
When you drop it on me.
Praise God.
You know, that stuff.
So what do we need to do, Grandma? We need to continue to do what?
Huh?
What do we need to continue to do? Trust God? We need to continue to trust God?
I ain't never stopped.
Amen.
And I ask God, tell God what I want. And all this stuff. I ain't never stopped trusting God since I got religion.
6 beings that are going to come out of hiding after disclosure. Number 1 is Sasquatches. Large communities of them live everywhere, and some famous areas are the Appalachians and the Rocky Mountains. Earth is essentially their home. There was a time in history when Native Americans lived symbiotically with them and were very respectful of their communities. But the European colonialists came and forced these beings into hiding. They considered the Native Americans animals and savages, and considered the Sasquatches the same. Number 2 is merfolk and sirens. There was actually a time when merfolk tried to have a symbiotic relationship with humans, as they do with all life in the ocean. A lot of merfolk discovered humans, and those first humans were typically pirates. But you know how greedy ass humans do when they come across something they don't understand. They captured them, tortured them, and put them on display, and ate them, which is still done to this day. If that doesn't hurt your heart, you're not human. Number 3 is reptilians. There are so many types, and many of them see Earth as home and are very benevolent. They've been here since way before humans were even around. Some are malevolent from off Earth and have come here for an agenda. Millions walk among us, and many of them are in places that you would never think that they would be at. The malevolent ones have done this on many other planets in the galaxy. Earth is just one that they want. Number 4, werewolves. These are beings that have a mix of human DNA and wolf/wolf extraterrestrial DNA. This allows them to change form, and there's so many tales on them, I don't even have to say none, you already know. They walk among us more than you know because they've been around for a long time. I've noticed that their ability is usually linked to emotion, so it's like they could change form based on emotion a lot. People ask why they don't come out of hiding sooner. You think they're going to be accepted by people? Look me in the eye and tell me the average human is going to accept them. Number 5 is fairies. These are nature spirits who have a long history of being at war with humans since the beginning of human expansion on the planet. It was decided to go into hiding, only interacting with people who are open to them or can perceive them. Number 6 is human-looking ETs. They literally come in all colors of the rainbow. They come in different shapes and sizes, and they're here either because they see Earth as home, they're here for a mission, or both. They look so human, they don't even have to mask anything. Maybe just their way of seeing the world and their personality? They are here to help the consciousness shift on Earth and have been preparing for open contact. They see humans as their cousins, so they already know how we roll, they already know how we do, and they're here to help. Now, we can't say 100% of them are here to help, just as we can't say 100% of anything is 100% of something, but majority of them are benevolent.
You walk into a room, and before you say a word, people already feel something. That's your energy. It's not just aura talk, it's physics. Your heart emits an electromagnetic field. It extends beyond your body, and it carries your emotional state like a silent broadcast. Ever met someone and just felt off around them? That's not intuition, that's resonance. Your field is picking up on theirs. Here's the secret. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you want peace, radiate calm. If you want abundance, feel gratitude before it arrives. Because when your internal world shifts, your external world has no choice but to follow. You walk.
I'll tell you, we were in Chiapas, Mexico, and on a mountain, we saw a giant. Really? I'm talking about a big one. I'm not talking about a 9-footer, 10-footer. I'm talking about mid-20s. Not for a glimpse, not a second. For about 25 minutes, I stared at it. It did not rattle my faith one bit. No. Because I already know how to process all this. In fact, I actually was talking, all these people were praying for me. We were on this prayer mountain, and this thing came up over the ridge, and it was the next ridge over. This known for having giants in the area. There's big giant footprints everywhere in the rock down there and all this craziness. Even at the hotel, there was a big giant footprint. They had this rock that has a giant human footprint in it. And it also has the largest Mayan ruins on the planet Earth is there, and it's privately owned. And we went to it. The guy that owns it, it's the largest Mayan pyramid on the entire planet Earth. It's all right there. Jeez. And yeah, we went out there, which I got to tell you all about that and the craziness that happens there. But we went to this prayer mountain, all these pastors meeting with me. We all got there. They were all praying for me. So all this, like 40 pastors, and they're all praying, and they're all speaking in Spanish. I can see Jerry, and I can see my son Ben. We're all standing there minding our own business. And they're all praying, and I see on the next, there's a big valley, and there's a ridge in front of me, and I see this thing come up over the ridge and stand next to this tree. And as the tree sways, it sways exactly however the tree's, and it like mimics it. And I'm just sitting there, man, and I'm just looking at this thing. And I'm like, wow, I saw it come up. I actually saw it come up. And it's staring us down from the next mountain over, and it's staring. I can tell how big it is because of that tree. And it's no joke. I mean, this is no joke. And we're just sitting there, and I told Ben, I said, Ben, while they're praying for me, I'm like, yes, Lord, because they're all praying for me. I'm like, Ben, like what? He's like, yeah, he's praying too. I was like, there's a giant on that hill over there. He's like, where? I'm like, right over there. We're praying, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. Ben turns around, he goes, oh my, like King Jesus. I'm like, I know. Wow. And when Ben turned around and looked at it, the tree moved and it froze. And so it knew what we were doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to tell you this. I started talking to it, and I was talking like this level. Now there's no way anything can actually hear me. That thing is a quarter mile away. Yeah. And I'm just like, I see you, you devil, and there's nothing you can do about this. We're here. We're not going away. We're rescuing kids. We're doing everything that Jesus wants us to do, and there's not a thing in the world that you can do about it. Wow. You can either move or you can go to hell. And I'm talking in this voice. And then it started doing this. And I told Jerry, I said, Jerry, I want you to softly turn around. He said, why? And I said, because there is something, a giant on the top of that hill, and I've been looking at it for 20, 30 minutes. And Jerry turned around and went, oh my gosh. And man, when he did that thing, kind of stood up like this and it just turned around and like in just a couple of strides. Unbelievable. The guys just kept right on praying. Power of God's moving. Holy Spirit's moving. All kinds of craziness. And they're just like, so I asked them, we're on this prayer mountain. And I said, you guys ever have like crazy things shown? The pastor's like, what are you talking about? Like, you ever had like giants in this region like that? He goes, yeah. He goes, there's one that lives on that mountain right over there. That was the mountain that I actually saw it on. Wow.
Y'all know I'm a sucker for giants on mountains, y'all. The whole ride to Arizona, I was looking at those mountains, looking for giants, y'all. I'm a sucker for those.
The alchemy, right? So there's an earth, fire, air, water, aura.
I thought that was all BS.
You think it's bullshit, but who wrote about this? These are guys who work at the Federal Reserve, the Treasury. Donald Trump's mentors study Kabbalah. Why are these businessmen studying this stuff? Because alchemy is philosophical. It has nothing to do with lead, mercury, and gold. When it talks about lead turning into gold, it's philosophical. It's talking about your mind being transmuted from stupid to genius, from idiot to millionaire. Alchemy think of chemistry, the retard science. Alchemistry, alchemy was first. And in alchemy, earth is your flesh, your body. Water is your generative principle, your reproductive fluids. Fire is astral flame and soul, which controls your motions and emotion, or emotion to move. Then you have the final one, air, the mental plane. This one is where most women fuck up.
How?
Because they get penetrated by other air particles, other ideas in the ether. Now, men, where I see them fuck up the most is in the fire aura. Your diurnal electromagnetic pulse, you got a fucking field around your heart pulse. That fire aura is your SOL, your soul, the solar. From your fucking solar plexus, homie.
I thought that was shit out of luck. I thought that's what SOL was.
Men don't follow their souls. They're atheists, they're pathetic. Women, they try and follow their souls. And then the mental plane, the air. Maybe I'll make an OnlyFans, and tomorrow I'll kill myself. That's where they get raped, mind fucked.
The number one most anti-inflammatory food in the world is not turmeric, it's not ginger, and it's definitely not blueberries. Just one little teaspoon of this food can reduce joint inflammation better than ibuprofen. It has been used for thousands of years, and it has outperformed turmeric and ginger in reducing inflammation by 60%. The number one most anti-inflammatory food in the world is called black cumin seed oil. Some people call it black seed oil. The unique compound in black seed oil is called thymoquinone, which has a direct anti-inflammatory effect comparable to over-the-counter pain medications.
You are not going to believe this. These strawberries and cream instant oatmeals don't have any strawberries in them. It's got apple pieces, but that's not all. The peaches and cream oatmeal doesn't have any peaches in it. It's peach-flavored apple pieces. I guess there's at least peach juice in that, but the lemon cream oatmeal that's right next to it doesn't have any freaking lemon in it. I'm not a huge fan of Quaker, but at least their strawberries and cream oatmeal has strawberries in it. How is that not false advertising?
I just want to know why it's so fucking hard to get a job, man! In 2025, it is literally impossible, bro! When you do, you get 7 rounds of interviews for some reason, man! Just for them to go with another candidate. You cannot find the job in 2025. It is literally impossible, and I keep crashing out about it. How the fuck are we ever gonna find a job? Why is it so fucking hard, man? It should ever be this fucking hard. I swear, bro.
The stock market is currently down big. By the time that you see this, obviously there's going to be fluctuations, but it had already lost over $2 trillion worth of value at one point. And this is, we saw the value of the dollar dropping and the odds of recession rapidly rising. Or you have Bank of America now seeing a high risk of recession. And JP Morgan saying that if Trump's tariffs are sustained, they'll push the US into a recession. And the trade war, it's just beginning. Or the EU says that the door is open for last-ditch negotiations, but that they're readying countermeasures. Meanwhile, Germany and France reportedly think that the strategy should be to hit the US so hard that Trump has to remove the tariffs. But some reports even saying that they're considering nuclear options, which range from blocking U.S. tech companies from the European market, taxing U.S. banks, and stripping American companies of their intellectual property rights. You also have France saying that Trump is acting like he's master of the world and has urged European companies to halt all investment into the U.S. And of course, all of this is the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that if the countries retaliate to these tariffs, the U.S. will escalate. But this, as you have many saying, that the countries are already retaliating because they're being hit with tariffs randomly, saying, they're not reciprocal tariffs. With, a number of experts noting that the tariff rates that Trump presented yesterday, they're not actual tariff rates. Right? When you look at the chart, South Korea does not have a 50% tariff on the U.S. Its tariff is 0.79%. But economists saying that it looks like the Trump administration just took what a country's trade deficit was last year and divided it by their exports and then called that their tariff rate. But this is, they say that's not a tariff, that's a trade balance. Right? And America has a trade deficit with basically everyone because Americans compared to the rest of the world are rich and rich people buy things. Right? The United States reportedly makes up 30% of all global consumer spending despite being just 4% of the population. With some saying this is like complaining complaining that you have a trade deficit with the grocery store because you're buying from them and they don't buy from you. And so that's just one of the reasons you have many experts right now looking at all this and saying, what the hell? But for now, follow to stay in the loop.
Scientists have unearthed a new species of dinosaur in the Gobi Desert of Mongolia and unveiled their findings in the journal iScience. The dino, known as Duonicus, lived roughly 95 million years ago and sported a pair of fearsome foot-long claws, the largest ever found fully preserved. But the 10-foot-tall, 500-pound dinosaur was actually not a predator. It used its long claws and long neck to reach for vegetation, though experts say the species could defend itself with those sharp talons when necessary.
Did she say 10 foot, 500 pounds? That's it? That seems a little light, y'all. That seems a little bony, right? 10 foot, 500 pounds?
Since when does the moon do this? Never ever have I seen the phasing of the moon go down and up. Usually the phasing of the moon goes left to right. So does this mean the sun is going north to south now? Also, if you look more closely, the phasing of the moon is being caused by some other disk being blocked right in front. If you can see right here in the moon's a perfect circle, but then you can see a different shade of gray that's protruding out from where the upper edge of the moon would be. There's another circular disk covering the moon. But since when does the phasing of the moon go down and up and down? Usually it's left and right. No way.
You know, someone showed a video of the Tesla logo upside down. And bruh, did we just see Kanye West in his rendition of this? I mean, come on. And like, yo, this is not entertainment purposes. All I'm doing is showing you images that these elite have shown us. And let me tell you, this design is on purpose. Why put those two dots right there? Why put those two dots right there? I'll tell you why. We've seen many politicians say, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you. Come on. You see, you can't unsee. You can't unsee that. Go ahead, turn your logo upside down. Peace to the gods. Diabolical.
It's the lowest point on Earth. You've never been lower than when you're at the Dead Sea. A third of the water in the Dead Sea is literally salt. 10 times saltier than the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean. If a fish accidentally swims in the Dead Sea, it's insta-killed. Boats cannot effectively do boat stuff in the Dead Sea because it's so buoyant from the salt. Another thing is, you know, the Dead Sea has been sort of like one of these like health destinations for thousands, hundreds of years. And like you see all these people that are like naked and they're like putting mud all over their bodies. Do not get water in your eyes. I'm in there, I'm kind of thrashing around. Of course I'm going to get water in my eyes. And it stung so bad. Now the classic pick is like the reading the book pick. You're on your back, like sunbathing position, and you're reading the book because you're like so buoyant, it's like a couch. Eventually I got a little bored because you can't swim, everything's dead.
Kanye West.
Yeah, so I have remote viewed Kanye. Definitely a huge part of the Illuminati. I mean, that's a no-brainer. All of the signs are there.
Was he cloned, you think?
Okay, with clones. So Kanye does have clones of him, but for the most part, he plays by their rules. So they haven't completely taken him out, right? So sometimes if they're too much of a threat, they'll just kill them off and then replace them entirely with a clone. But this is why Kanye is just a little bit disheveled, because he has gone through so much MK Ultra programming. So even if they aren't fully a clone all the time, they go through a lot of programming, and they also get pretty drugged up to be able to handle that kind of programming. And so he'll just shoot off random stuff. So they haven't completely taken him out, and he does have clones, but for the most part, it is him.
Yeah, because you'll see him go through these episodes
episodes where all the PR is attacking him every few months.
Yep.
And that's him just exposing stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, no one takes him seriously because of all the other that he's saying at the same time.
Got a chill down my spine reading about the Black Panthers and COINTELPRO, and recognizing that they infiltrated these groups because their biggest fear, and this was the entire thing behind the Charles Manson lie and pretending it was a race war that he wanted, was they were very fearful of Black nationalists and white liberals coming together. And I was sitting here going, oh my gosh, I have these beliefs, like they're going through Black Panthers beliefs in this book. And they're like, you know, they believed in the Second Amendment, that you should defend yourself. They didn't trust the government. They believed in like, they needed to keep like their families together. And they freaked out when people on the left began supporting them. They didn't want union. So they wanted to sow racial discord. And I think about why so many liberals hated me, because they thought I was like a self-hating Black person. And I'm going, guys, read this book. Like the CIA is doing this all over again, trying to discredit and trying to sow discord. And we really need to like stay together right now.
100%. And it ties into the thing that initially brought us together in content was Diddy, is that once they saw how powerful these Black movements could be, because Black people have had such a bad like go of it politically in those earlier days, especially. And then through the civil rights movement, they saw, oh my goodness, these people can really organize. These people can really project quality arguments and make a difference. We need to figure out, and I'm speculating a little bit as to the connections from A to B, but you wind up with Black culture being propped up by a whole bunch of blackmailers and really corrupt celebrities that are pulling strings in order to promote the most degenerate artists you could ever promote, in order to promote culture that is a direct pipeline to prison, which is basically used as slave labor today by all the biggest corporations like Starbucks, McDonald's, Verizon. Like you're calling your Verizon sales rep, and some of those calls are going into prisons to people that are getting paid like cents per hour. And so the way that the Black community has been undermined since the sort of 80s and 90s through rap music is a big part of it, is so tragic. And I think that the seeds are sowed in that time period of the Black Panthers being such a threat, not a physical violent threat in most cases, but rather a political threat.
Yeah. And that's really funny because I was reading a passage in the book club yesterday or the day before, and it speaks about how part of this program, they infiltrated the Black Panthers and had a guy who got really close with the guy at the top. I think his name was Freddie, one of the guys at the top. And for months, Freddie basically said they're not doing anything illegal, right? Oh. And they're not doing anything illegal. They're not doing anything illegal. And they didn't care. And one night they had him drug him. And the FBI raided and shot him in the back of the head and killed him just because he had a following. And this is what they were worried about with Martin Luther King. And so the biggest fear that they have is nationalism, like true America first. We don't want to be involved in your war. We don't care about what's happening in Vietnam. We don't care how close you are to Israel, LBJ, and the unity that could come between white people and Black people. And so I really recommend people that are listening to this to read this book so that you have an understanding. It will force you to re-examine your relationship with the media when they're kind of using these tactics against people that are clearly not being funded by foreign nations. Like they're just going to accuse us of exactly what it is that they're doing, which is committing themselves to a foreign nation.
Are y'all seeing it now? Do y'all get it now? I have so many posts on this account talking about this same thing right here. Look at how vibrant the world used to be back then. Filled with personality. This goes for businesses. This goes for furniture. This pretty much applies to everything on the outside world. The society used to be different. And just so y'all can see that I'm not capping, look at what's parked in front of me. What color are these cars in front of me? Imagine showing up to the supermarket, showing up to your job, and this is how the parking lot looked like. Creativity is at an all-time low, and that's because the corporations got greedy. Halo? And it's all about consumerism. This is how parking lots look nowadays. Monotone, lifeless. Wherever you show up, I don't care if it's at a supermarket, if you go to the DMV, showing up to this parking lot, you don't think that you're gonna have a different sense? You're gonna feel more creative? It's the little things that we don't think about that's affecting our everyday routine. Things used to be about personality back then, individuality, uniqueness. Now everybody's trying to copy everybody. Everything's the same. They got us like robots out here. Get with the program so then you could get out of the program. It's really up to us at this point. And I wonder if there's ever going to be a renaissance in art again.
Listen, man, this is not a joke. They're really trying to trap you here in this country.
Now look, the theory is, see these tariffs is gonna cause a lot of stuff to get expensive, which means your everyday needs or whatever is gonna cost a lot of money and it's gonna drain your pocket. They want you stuck here in America for a catastrophe that's about to happen. Like this whole country is a trap, man. You don't see it right now, but you'll see it. I mean, starting with the wall that they're building, that's not to keep people out, it's to keep people in. The bridges that it went down, the exposure of all these planes, you know, having problems, which making people fearful to fly. The star ID thing that they're gonna require people to get on their ID. Do you not see what's going on? People, you gotta open up your eyes, man. I mean, don't y'all remember if you ever seen the movie Leave the World Behind, when those Tesla cars all piled up to trap people? See, look, I'm doing me a favor by telling y'all and not gatekeeping this information that can help and save a lot of lives. Because they're not gonna get on the news and tell you this stuff. They're not gonna, you need people like me and a lot of other people that's getting on here warning you stuff that's coming. And I'm about to tell you what's coming in the part 2.
I believe that it was Barry Obama and his handsome wife, Michael, who put together that nasty little business that happened with me at Midway Airport late January 2023, because it was. And I'm not saying allegedly. Barry. Everybody knows Barry and the Jigga Man are very close. The kind of stuff that they do. It is real.
Can you repeat back to me what happens when we pass away?
Yes. When we pass away, the soul gently releases from the body. It's peaceful, like slipping out of a dream. There's often a moment of calm awareness, lightness, clarity, even relief. Then you're usually greeted by loving guides or familiar souls. They're there to help you transition, to remind you that you're safe and that you're not alone. Next is the life review. You revisit your life, not to be judged, but to understand. You feel what others felt through your choices. It's a moment of deep learning, wrapped in compassion. After that, you move into a soul realm, a space of rest and healing. There, you reconnect with your soul group, reflect on the life you lived, and remember why you came. And from there, your soul chooses what comes next, another life, a new path, or simply deeper exploration in the spirit world. It's not an end. It's a return to light, to truth, and to the vastness of who you truly are.
Now can you repeat what happens before we incarnate?
Before we incarnate, the soul enters a sacred process, a kind of cosmic preparation. First, you meet with your spirit guides and soul family. Together, you review what your soul has already experienced and what lessons or themes you're ready to explore.
I grew up next to this guy who was illegally, not next to, but in the same vicinity of a guy who was illegally collecting jungle cats, bears, and whatnot. And he opened up all their gates and day, and I had school canceled for 2 days because of wild animals.
I remember that story.
Yeah, it was right by me.
No shit.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great prank, though.
Everybody was so afraid.
Yeah.
The animals killed him?
No, he killed him.
Like, so he...
Yeah, this guy had a bunch
Wait,
of
was this the Zanesville incident?
That was the Zanesville incident, yeah.
Oh, I know the Zanesville incident.
Did you have school canceled?
No, I didn't live that. I did
Wild
live
animal
close to
day hits harder than a snow day, I will tell you.
Yeah.
So he had lions?
He had lions, he had like grizzly bears, there were like zebras. And the thing is, they were so used to, the police had to go, I'd imagine it was probably a fun day for the police. They had to go kill him.
Yeah, they had to kill them all.
You just go hunting.
Because you
Big game
can't,
hunting.
like,
Fun day for the
I would
police.
show up at the police and be like, guys, I have played so much Big Buck Hunter.
Yeah,
Safari Edition.
please.
Like, I've been training my whole life for this.
That would be a fun day as a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a fun day as
Do you think they only aim for the black parts of the zebra? Out of habit.
I would love to be a kid on Wild Animal Day. I think kids, you got to go outside. You got to sneak out of the house at some point, right?
I'm a born pussy. I would not. I stayed in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or did you at least like go to a window?
I did.
Yeah.
And I convinced myself I saw stuff. What's up?
If I do this, give them the signs that I'm good. Hey, y'all see me start taking pictures? They're like, oh shit, she giving them signs. I'm like, my eye. They be like, Yeah, we got influence.
We got her. We got her.
Gonna get him.
Well, that's how you get to the top, y'all.
Just every now and then.
Every now and then.
Every now. Just.
Oh,
we got.
Okay. And they'll contact you. Is that what Ice Spice was trying to do at the Super Bowl? It's not a try. She did. And you know what? And I don't care what nobody say, because I'm always right at the end of the day when it comes to this stuff. She's an industry plant. It's common. You came from nowhere. Your little short... No. Girl, no. No, You just came from anywhere. And so is the other girl. Give me sweat, whatever. Make me hot.
Not Tyler. Come on, that sounds like just a little bitty girl. Damn, not Tyler.
One song gave you a Grammy. How's that possible? You walk right in, the song's still on the fucking radio hot. You got a Grammy. How they do that?
That's true.
How did you get that? How did they even do a...
You know, we just didn't realize how good we had it growing up.
Even
though some of us went through the trauma, there's... if I can go back into this time in life, I would do it in a heartbeat. You know, life is funny, man. I miss growing up. Shit, I'm still doing it. Still growing up. But to go back to this era in my life, in our lives, all my millennials, even with all the trauma, even with all the negative, tell me you wouldn't go back. Tell me you wouldn't. Tell me you don't miss it. Remember how excited you used to be for the unknown? I feel like we lost touch of that instinctual reality. Growing up sucks, but there's beauty in suffering. There's this picture collage I'm showing you. You've all done this, especially if you are 40 or 30s. You've all went through this and didn't realize you were doing it. I mean, and when I look at these pictures, it's not so much the events that's happening, it's who I did these things with, who I grew up with, who I learned what it was to be a man, or to be an adult, or to be myself. It's a long road and I'm still figuring it out. But when I looked at this collage, it just made me appreciate. Back then I didn't realize where I was. And now I know to realize where I am. Peace to guys.
The crazy thing about Mr. Beast, he doesn't withhold taxes when he gives the distribution. So I literally got $10 million wired to me.
What percent do you think you're going to end up paying? Because you're in California.
Yeah.
And people online have been saying that you're going to have to give half.
If you didn't do anything with the dollars, I would have guessed that my taxes will be over $5 million.
Did you see what Matt Damon said about the state of movies? Why movies suck now?
What is that?
It was fascinating.
So what happened was the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream, and technology has just made that obsolete. The movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make. I would have to make $100 million before I got into profit. The idea of making $100 million on a story about like this love affair between these two people. Yeah, I love everyone in the movie, but that's suddenly a massive gamble.
Did you?
What year is this?
2025.
How you know? This ain't 2025. Listen, let me tell you how it works, right? So, say for instance, who your grandma is?
Who's grandma?
Yeah,
my grandma Ella Mae, man, rest in peace.
Who is your great grandma?
my great grandma, my Dorothy, man, rest in peace.
Who's your great grandma?
I don't know now.
Right, you don't know. Right, that's how they did it. That's how they did it. Listen, so this is what they did. They went all the way back and killed all of those people, and then gave you a history, and then left stuff here for you to find. And a lot of people don't know. It ain't no 2025 game. I don't know what year it is. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I'm locked in this damn body and I'm locked on Earth. Stop playing on me.
I mean, it doesn't take a long time to erase. I mean, just a generation, you can change a whole story, right? In one generation. You could. So, who knows?
April 4th, 2025, we are racking up the big earthquakes. Here's a 6.9. Just went off right before my very eyes. Let's take a look. This was a 6.9, 194 kilometers east-southeast of Kimbe, Papua New Guinea. USGS has the depth at 10 kilometers deep, but Volcano Discovery has the earthquake at a 7.2 at a depth of 33 kilometers. So I'm not sure at this point which is correct. Coincidentally, almost a year to the day was another 6.9, also in Papua New Guinea a year ago. This is just a really quick update since this just happened, but we are definitely seeing some big earthquakes. And by the way, the 7.7 in Myanmar and all of the following aftershocks were also at 10 kilometers deep. I hope everyone stays safe, and we'll see you in the comments. Take care.
I have a whole theory that you probably laugh in my face about, and I have no problem hiding this. I don't believe Joe Biden was Joe Biden, and you don't have to elaborate on any of this. I believe we had to go through a psychological, I'll call it awakening, to see how corrupt, how insane that, I don't even know how to say, that way of thinking. I don't want to piss people off because everyone likes to say they're a this or they're a that, and I'm a this and I'm a that, and they define themselves. But I hands down, if voting really does exist, there's no way Trump lost in 2020. That's Jim Brewer is saying that, and I've said it a million times before. And I think I'm praying to God we're in an incredible place. I think we are. I'm pretty confident about everyone in place.
So,
but I'm also one of the, what were you going to say?
So I don't want to extend your time. If you want to just get off the air.
No. I always feel like I'm keeping you on. I got
no. I have to be at my house because there's workers here.
Okay.
So you're telling me Joe Biden was what?
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was a mask. I don't know if that
who was under it. Who was under the mask? I'm not saying you're crazy. My wife told me the same thing. My brother says, "Look at his ears. Look at his hair. Look at this."
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm at the point in my life where I don't believe or not. What am I trying to say? Anything is possible. Anything's possible.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
And to back up what you said, I'll go another level to it in that Trump, I believe in divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trump the first time was divine intervention, whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. He lost. However he lost, doesn't matter, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lost so that, and because he was there, then he wasn't, it exposed all the corruption, exposed everything, how bad it is. And that's why and again, maybe divine intervention to show us, Jesus, this place is a blanket disaster.
100%.
See, do you guys think he lost in 2020? See, I don't like to get into the politics too much because a lot of people live and die on that hill. And if you say one thing wrong, I'm out of here, bye, or whatever. But I think he lost, y'all, because remember in 2020, everything was against him. Everything. Like in 2024, the left tried to do the celebrity thing. It didn't work, right? But in 2020, the left didn't have to do that because the celebrities were already the celebrities, the football, basketball, music. Everybody was just bashing on him. TikTok was all negative on him. Everything, y'all. Everything was just, and they have that does a lot to people's mind. That does a lot. People got out there and voted. So I think he lost that. And this time in 2024, it wasn't like that. It was just the celebrities that are like old, like De Niro and Jennifer Lopez. Like it wasn't the celebrities that are in the in crowd now. Those people, a lot of them switched. They switched from Biden over to Trump this time around. So that's what got him the momentum. He was on the podcast. He was on like the majority of people that are watching, he was on those shows. The other side wasn't. But in 2020, they didn't have to do nothing. They didn't have to do nothing, y'all, because they had so much. Remember the riots, the races, all the racism, that just did everything that they needed to do. It worked good in 2020, but in 2024 it didn't work because all the corruption got exposed, y'all.
And then he comes back. By the way, I'm going to say, have you ever met him?
I've never.
Certain people in the music industry have a handler. Where Diddy was originally at, and he got let go. Who picked him up? Clive Davis. That day, he acquired his handler. The music went boom. When they seen he was maxing out in music and it wasn't working for him no more, where did they move him to? TV. Start doing the making the bands. Then it went to merch, right? When that shit phased out, then he went to the revolt shit, then he went to the liquor. The Ciroc shit phased out. He was supposed to be moved elsewhere. But the liquor gave him the feeling that he had back when the music was popping. When they give him the Deli on, you got your run and we're gonna move you elsewhere. You know what Diddy said? Fuck that. I got $1 billion. I'ma tell you what I'ma do. Now, as they're building you, they're also establishing something. Bring your ass down. If they have
Trump has put his tariffs all over the place. Get some wacky formula and do tariffs. And everything's in the shitter because of it. I'm down $7 million.
It seems like he's always losing money and gambling or something, right? Whatever. But what do you guys? I'm interested to see. What do you guys think of all this? Because I'm losing money in my stocks, right? My baby stocks that I'm in. But he's. We both got time, right? We're both young, especially him. Like he's got a lot of time for ups and downs. So honestly, right now this down is a good thing because I'm getting them stocks for cheap. But what do you guys think of all this? What do you guys think? Like these you people that are really for Trump and whatnot. What is your honest opinion? What do you think right now? Is it affecting you? Is it, they say prices are going to go up. Now I know in the long run this is supposed to be better, but what if, y'all? What if it's not? Are car prices going to come back down when they go up? I mean, they went really up from 2019 to 2020. They didn't make a big deal about that, really, did they? They didn't really. Not like they're making a big deal about this, right? They got a lady in front of Walmart saying groceries are doubling. Well, they've been doubling. Look at what they were in 2019 to what they are now. Look at what the house was in 2019 to what it is now. Look at what the price of a gallon of gas was in 2019 to what it is now, before Trump. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people forget about that in 2020, when I was going to get a house in March, the interest rate was like 3%. House was like 170. Overnight, it went up to 400,000 with Joe Biden. So how bad is it going to get? Is it going to get worse? Is the house going to be 600,000 now? I don't know, y'all, but what is your honest opinion about this? Should we just wait out the storm and then start reaping the benefits of this? Or what? What do you guys think?
Even said that the same basket of groceries that she regularly buys has now effectively doubled. Take a listen.
I feel like the prices are ridiculous now. It's to the point where it's going to be harder for people to shop because the prices are just insane. Literally, yes, because last week I literally for the same amount of stuff that I bought, I literally paid like maybe $30-40, and now it's like $75 for like 3 bags of groceries. It's like completely insane.
Now, all I can tell you guys, these tariffs, prices are going to be going up. A lot of content is going to be hitting this TikTok, y'all. I'm going to start getting going on my second channel, dealing with grocery prices, car prices, the renting, all these things. A lot of content, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm going to give you guys some game right now. Get your phone. You can download download TikToks for free, y'all. Put them on the internet, react to it. You guys got any questions? Hit my email. A lot of people don't do that, y'all. I've asked some top content creators on here, TikTok, some questions for some game, and they don't even acknowledge it, y'all. But there's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's enough to go around, right? So if you guys got any questions on how to get started, y'all, email me. Don't leave it in the comments because I don't see every comment. I get a lot of comments. Write me an email, and I would love to, right here, y'all. This is where it's at. This is where it's at. You guys got any questions? Let me know.
Tell you all the truth about something. I have lived a crazy life. I've driven Lamborghinis. That's me. Got paid to direct celebrities like this. You get the point already, right? Alright, so let me tell you all a secret. The life of Hollywood, fame, money, all that, it is meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. Most of the people that you've been taught by media to idolize in Hollywood, they're depressed, lonely, severely mentally ill in many cases. They don't know who they can trust. They do not live happy lives. They're chasing the next dopamine fix so that they can get that cheap high of being famous and powerful. And really they do it all by being, those wind-up monkeys that somebody else controls. They don't have real values or virtues. The best decision I ever made was leaving the entertainment business, going to the South, buying land, raising our kids here, and enjoying family, faith, freedom, standing up for what I believe in. None of that other stuff mattered. The awards, the parties, the money, cars. It was all meaningless. It was meaningless. You want meaning, you want joy, embrace God, embrace faith, embrace family, reject these horrible elitists who want to destroy your life, who want you fat, depressed, lonely, and addicted to porn. Embrace family.
Learn to do things slow. This is how you regulate your nervous system. Learn to do things slower. Walk slower, eat slower, talk slower, calm down. If you constantly here, there, doing this, doing that, everything super fast, this, that, fast, your nervous system has no time to catch up. Your nervous system runs off of electricity. You're literally short-circuiting yourself. Calm down, slow down. This is why things like meditation are important. Calm down, slow down. You don't have to be busy all the time. Calm down. You ever notice how when you breathing fast, your heart beating fast, but when you your heart starts to beat slower and slower. If you want to regulate your nervous system, you need to learn to do things slower so your nervous system has time to calm down.
All right, family. There you have today's video. Hour and 11 minutes for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today. If you guys made it this far, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Put something to do with vacation down below if you made it this far. I would like to see who made it this far in the video. Who made it to the end, y'all? It can be an airplane. It can be a camping tent. It can be a fishing rod. It can be, whatever. Something to do with vacation. Because Scobie just got back from a little vacation, right? I went to the hometown. It was nice. The baby got to meet the rest of the family. I had a couple nieces that the baby hasn't met, a sister. So they all got to meet them. Met some uncles, some aunts. It was nice. It was a nice trip. But boy, am I glad to be home. We lived in a hotel for the week, and it was nice, but it's tough with the 2-month-old baby in a hotel, y'all. It's nothing like being home. It was nice this morning. Wake up, drink some coffee. Went to Arizona. The weather, what's up, y'all? What's up with that weather that was this week? It was cold. We were wearing jackets. If I would have known the weather was going to be like that, I probably would have went this upcoming week because it's going to be 80s, 90s out there. But I got a chance to go for a drive through the old neighborhood. Quick one this time. Went for a hike on my mountain I used to always run. Me and Mama Bear went on a long hike out at White Tanks. Went to the zoo, and just spent some time with family. It was nice. It was nice, but glad to be home. Excited to be back doing these videos. Like I said, a lot of content on here is about to be hitting, y'all. You want to do these videos, you want to do some inflation type videos. That's stuff that's going to be top stuff coming up these next few years, y'all. So I encourage you guys to get on the grind, y'all. It's 20-25 minute video, you know what I mean? Don't got to be an hour. Just get started, get the momentum going. And that's where it's at, y'all. I'm telling you. But anyways, y'all, hope everyone out there has a good day. Happy Saturday, y'all. It's stormy, rainy, cold out. So just going to kick it, y'all. Just going to kick it on the couch for the rest of the day with Mama Bear and the baby, and maybe cook some steaks later for dinner. That's what we're doing today, y'all. So I hope everyone out there has a good Saturday. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the Man Cave. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow on Sunday for the next one, y'all. Make sure you guys go hit that link down below, my second channel. We're going to start getting active over there with all this inflation stuff that's going to be happening, y'all. So be sure to go over there and subscribe, y'all. We'll be getting content going on over there. This is Segovia. Later.